Welcome to segment number 7 of our run through this all puzzle super world by Seanhip2. We are currently at 18 out of 21 clears. You can see 2 of the 3 remaining levels in the map and some finale castle that has yet to be revealed. And we currently have 1 life in the bank, but it won't matter. We'll just see the game over screen relatively soon and just reset that, and that will not really be too consequential from that point on. We don't know if we're going to wrap it all up today, because we've had streams that were spent entirely on one puzzle. We've had some streams like last time where we cleared 7 in a row in quick succession. It really depends on the puzzles themselves and how quickly we intuit the central interactions, or more often the final interaction, the final step or execution stumble that tends to get in the way. Regardless, let's get straight into it and take a look at puzzle 19 out of 21 in the set, which is this one in the desert. Just keep spinning. With a clear condition for 6 coins. So let's see where the coins are going to come from. It looks like there will be some key switching here. I see 1 key switch on the board at the moment. And at some point when we activate that, we'll need to find a path that allows us to collect 6 coins. I see a mushroom off the claw on the right that might be necessary for returning to the door. It looks like there are going to be 2 on-off switch interactions at some point using the bombs off the claws on the right, where you drop 1 bomb, it walks down, you have a bit of lead time while it ignites and then gets on top of the one and only on-off switch. It looks like in order to get within range of dropping the bomb, you do need to get within range of dropping the mushroom. Actually, I'm not even sure how we get within range of dropping the bomb, given that I don't see a way to... Oh yes, no, through the donut blocks in the bottom right. On the bottom row, if you go all the way to the right, then that's going to be within the 2-tile range for activating that claw. But if you drop the bomb, you definitely also drop the mushroom, and that's something we'll have to work out. If you look at this top center gap here above where Mario is right now, if you already have the mushroom by that point, you would not be able to squeeze through that gap, so that's important. It seems like we'll have to find some kind of sequence where if you're in the top area where you get the key for the door, you will need the mushroom to have fallen into the left side area where the 1-up mushroom currently is, and then possibly stomp through that block, unless of course you're collecting it as a coin. I think we just need to play this and map it out. So we'll have 2 on-off interactions. The first one drops a bomb, toggles a switch, and then it releases the second bomb into a claw, which means that at some point later we would need to return to the same location in the bottom right, activate the second on-off switch in order to open a passage to the key door to begin with. The other thing too is that if you look at the way that the key is obstructed, that we would need to probably have an on-off switch toggle once, but then if we're standing in that location, I'm not sure about how we'll actually get that key. Now, it's quite possible that, yeah, if you look at the bomb placement actually, it goes down the log bridges. It might actually walk off on top of a semi-solid, and until it bumps into the wall that's in the middle column under the key, it isn't going to walk back just yet. And in that location, we wouldn't really be able to grab it and spin jump on it either, I think. This is important here because it means there might be a long lead time for the bomb to walk left. Oh, it might actually drop through the lower bumper, though. Yeah, no, if a bomb walks all the way across the semi-solid, it might drop through the left bumper. And then we'll have to see what that amounts to. It looks like the extra coins tucked into the bottom right, incidentally, are there to make the clear condition work, because clearly some of the coins we grab are going to be off, toggling the turn blocks instead. What that implies to me is that, well, we already know this, that at minimum 3 of the coins that we collect for the condition will be from flipping the yellow turn blocks instead. This say just keeps spinning. I don't know if that refers to spin jumping with the mushroom, or if it refers to having the blocks continue to spin by, for example, having Mario stand and overlap one of them as one of the central interactions that we'll need to be aware of. Well, yeah, because it looks like right now that if a bomb walks all the way over to the left, we would need to catch it in the bottom right trap, and then jump up through the turn blocks and then send it to the right manually. Let's see if that pans out, actually. We need to scout this a little bit. So yeah, this obviously tempts you right away to grab the P-switch, but I don't know that we necessarily want to do that yet. I mean, if there's a disadvantage to getting it now, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Let's walk through this first, just to see. So yeah, we need to see where everything bounces. Mushroom falls in this trap. I didn't see that there's a ground block over here, actually. So the bomb doesn't even fall through here. It falls into this trap instead. That's very, very important, because it tells me that we'll need to do something like use a P-switch to obstruct. By jumping through here, drop the P-switch, and then that allows you to obstruct and send an object back. Now the thing is, we need to manage the mushroom instead at that point. I think what we do is actually we bump the mushroom up using one of these blocks. Yeah, the mushroom's going to drop first ahead of the bomb. Mushroom comes over, we bump the mushroom up, we drop the P-switch, we wall off the bomb. Bomb walks back, that hits the on-off switch. P-switch is the only thing that I see here that can work as an obstruction. So basically the P-switch activation has to wait until we have done at least our second bomb activation of the on-off switch, because we need to use something as a blocking piece for the second bomb as well. Now at that point though, if we bump the mushroom, it's going to come over here and it's going to come exactly where we need. And that would allow me to come through here if we have not activated a P-switch yet. Now, if we're doing that, the other question is, at that point, am I able to take damage off of something? I can't activate a P-switch yet at this point. What we might need to do is use the P-switch as an obstruction to keep a block spinning. And we don't exactly know where that will happen just yet. But it looks like a P-switch activation in combination with the on-off state switch will be necessary to at least grab a coin off of this central block here, because assume that mushroom is destroying this one, we'll need to grab coins off the other 3. It might be a relatively quick sequence. You block with a P-switch, bomb walks back. Bomb walks back. Suppose this is open at the time. We need to hit a P-switch and grab this one in the middle before the bomb has toggled the on-off switch. After the bomb has toggled the on-off switch, we need a P to still be active, and we need to run through to the right side past the big donut block drop here, which is going to stall, and then grab the other 2 on that side. However, if the bomb is on top of the on-off switch, it might actually be within range of dropping one of the coins that the turn blocks in the middle stack of 2 have turned into. So, oh, I guess we didn't see the game over screen because we picked up a 1-up somewhere along the way. example, you can just grab this. Now, we haven't mapped out a route to the key yet either, because I don't know if that's something that we need to do by way of perhaps some kind of object throw or something else. Because currently we don't have a route to the key. I guess it depends on where you stand when you have an on-off switch activation, because we would think that maybe we need an on-off switch to activate while we're standing on top of red and having it push us over to an empty blue. I'm not sure how we're going to manage that while we're also trying to manage everything that's going on with the P-switch activation afterwards. Also, whoops, I actually didn't even think about this, that we can't just pick up the P-switch this way. We cannot pick up the P-switch immediately through that interaction. We need... Well, let's say we have the P-switch standing here. The P-switch stays here until the turn block finishes, and then it gets picked up. Or rather, it gets moved up. Now, it's on top of a one-way panel here, so we can't drop down until such time as we have opened this up. So maybe we can't pick up the P-switch. If we can't pick up the P-switch, then what do we use as a blocking piece for when the bomb walks over? That is an interesting question. Because if the bomb walks, if we don't have access to a P-switch... Oh, it gets caught on a second claw. That might actually be something critical. Maybe if we bump the bomb... I mean, it's going to go up, but then we might be able to jump just close enough to pick it up while remaining on the bottom row. Instead of bumping the mushroom, we bump the bomb. That seems a little dubious to me. So, okay, let's just keep this one spinning for a moment. And it pushes up. Very important interaction we have here. If on-off is released later... Can't tell if there's something for the P-switch to fall on top of. Yeah, there's a donut block that is stacked on top of right now, which means that if we have the on-off switch toggled, we actually want to bump the P-switch up so we can pick it up. But that still leaves the question of what the first interaction is going to be. Okay, so we keep this spinning. Now we take this. But then that doesn't walk. However, we just need to space it within 2 squares of the on-off, right? Which means that we might be able to throw it from a slightly different location to have it land in the middle of the bumper. So it doesn't get torched at all. The reason that we would use the Potaboo is for the second bomb, and then that would be using a P-switch block. The first bomb, we pick it up and we fire it. And hopefully get a decent firing distance. Otherwise... we might have to just kind of push it into place. Okay, so the first P-switch activation has to come before the P. We need to give it ample time. Also, if you come up here right away, you can't do that yet because the bomb has not been activated. You need to activate both in sequence, mushroom and bomb, and then, as before, wait for the first turn block to expire. And wait for the bomb to come down. Now, same idea. Except, that's not going to be within range of the on-off. So that's the problem, is that it hit the ceiling over here. We actually do want it to come up slightly, so the bomb walks slightly over. We bump it up, pick it up. Then we need to find exactly how it is we're going to get it to land directly on top of the on-off switch so it's within the 2-tile activation range there. And then we would come down here afterwards. At that point, on-off switch has been activated. And at that point, we would be able to bump the P up. And then... oh, we crouch into it. I don't think we can grab it, can we? Maybe we can. From crouching position? I'm actually not 100% certain of that. This might create a bit of a problem on its own. The mushroom has been sent over here. Ideally, we trap the mushroom on top of the other donut block, but on the right side, but I don't see a way to angle it like that. So the mushroom positioning, well, I mean, we'll need a mushroom to come back down through here, though, so. Oh, missed it. Hang on. Need to send it up. Nope, hit this too early. That second jump is going to go directly up towards it. We need to plan accordingly. Yeah, mushroom's going to go all the way over there. Bomb needs to walk. No, too far. Way too far. Can't do a throw like that. You need to do some kind of very gentle bump. Or like a soft drop into here. Something to get it directly on top of the on-off switch. And we'll need to figure out how to execute that properly. I don't know that we're within range of just doing a soft drop on it. Might need an extra push of some sort. Or we just bump it like this. Oh, too far away from the on-off still. We'll need to figure out just how to execute that step. It's very much an execution question at the moment. Because we don't have the means to just block it. Too far. Yeah, I should be able to place it over that bumper, but it's hard to see how we'll do it. I guess given sufficient time, well, we'll see. Oh, missed it. That's okay. Let's just figure out how to execute the bomb first. Even if we missed mushroom, we still need to test this pit. And oh, that's too far. Too far. Yeah, we still need to find a consistent way to control the bomb position. And until we do, nothing's going to happen here. Nope, didn't walk that very well. You kind of need to jump up slightly towards it so you can pick it up. And even if you pick it up, you need a way to set it down. Maybe run right into the bumper and then soft drop it with a little bit of forward momentum. Just don't know how to execute it yet. There probably is a gentler way to do it that we're not seeing. No, because if you don't jump up very precisely to catch it and fall back down, that will not work. I keep telling myself there has to be a less fussy intended way to do it, but you never know. Yeah, no, we just keep missing it. Needs to be a very exact pickup over the half tile, and then Mario shuffles the bomb over. Okay, we missed, but let's just try to do this again. See if we can figure out the specific interaction. That's too far over. This seems really tricky to do, actually. I have my doubts that this will be the route just because it is that tricky. Oops, missed it again. It's okay. I actually wonder if we let the bomb stay on the claw instead of activating it immediately. So we can rotate back around. And rotate back around, and then you're tall as Mario, but then you wouldn't be able to get out this way. Okay, let's bump it again. I feel like this is still likely to be the first step. Bomb has to be directly over here. Nope. If we can have a bit of forward momentum going into that drop, that'd be good. Throw goes too far. Maybe just a tap push might do it. But the execution seems a little bit exact here. So you don't get into this kind of situation, for instance. I don't currently see another way to activate the on-off. I think we do need a sequence of 2 bombs or nothing will happen. Missed a mushroom, that's okay. We'll see what we can do here. Nope, too far. Nope. Let's do it again. Just need to, well, we need to do the whole thing over again. Oh, didn't go far enough. To drop both. Nope, missed it. Unfortunately, didn't have a good alternative after missing that jump. It does seem a little bit execution dependent, but we'll have to find out whether that is supposed to be the case. No. Yeah, the thing is that you could easily get bumped out. Oh, we sent it back there. That was a mistake, but it was interesting that... Oh, okay, I see. No, this is the easier way to do it. You bump the block right before the bomb gets down to it. That's an interaction I don't think I knew. Notice too that if it falls down into that slot, it blows up this block. Now, if Mario is standing on top of it, maybe that doesn't blow up. But then Mario gets blown up, so that doesn't work. But if we lose that block without having that be one of the ones that gives you a coin, that changes a few things dramatically. Let me just try this little timing here again. You tap this. Oh, you need to tap it slightly before to reverse the bomb. That's interesting that that's possible, that you tap just before the bomb reaches that location and it actually walks back gently. I've never seen that before, I don't think. It seems extremely precise, but you can do it. But let's say we stand here, then I get blown up though. I definitely get blown up. No, I don't. Okay, that's how you preserve this block here. Now, assuming that we did things correctly, we would have at this point sent the mushroom over to the left side, and then we would have to cycle back around here. Because until we do that, we don't have a way to walk the second bomb down to the on-off switch. Once we walk the second bomb down to the on-off switch, then we stay here, hang right, and then on the second activation we grab the key. The problem with that is that on the second activation, well, at that point we definitely need to be holding the P switch. Yes, and we still need to probably stand in that same spot. With the P switch in the mushroom. Because otherwise the bombs in the middle, or rather the blocks in the middle get blown up, and we can't have that until the P switch activation happens, so. Well, we got one very crucial step here practically by accident. which is this timing. To walk it. And then stay here, and miraculously the bomb does not hit you. Even though it absolutely looks like it should. So yeah, if I hadn't discovered that reversal quite by accident, I think this would have stumped us for quite a bit longer. At this point, we're able to get the mushroom on the left and then tap through. I think we do take damage with the mushroom, actually. Because past a certain point, the second time we go through the left side, the block will already have been destroyed and we no longer need the mushroom for anything. I think you are definitely supposed to take damage so you can get out of the left side. The problem, though, is in order to take damage, we can't just take it from the bomb detonation because we need to be standing on the red block and have already taken damage at that time, I think. Moreover, we have to get the key and the coin up top, which is interesting because it implies that we need to do that kind of interaction twice, I guess. Because how do you loop around here and do an on-off push into the key, but also loop around here and do an on-off push into the coin? That's something that we have not sorted out. I think that coin is something that, well, I mean, you can't have a bomb detonation drop it because we need it for the on-off switch instead. Now, that Goomba on the right looks promising. Notice, too, that there's actually a blue state block over the claw on the right side. That Goomba looks like it's something where if we go through the key door in an on state, we actually have to take that Goomba and re-enter the door and come back and respawn all the bombs. And that might actually be the key. That we need to go through the key door early. It has to be an on state at that point, otherwise we can't get anywhere. We'll grab the Goomba, we'll walk it back. Then we come back down through here. And then we continue another bomb sequence where we have some additional interactions. So the key has to come before the coin. And the left side block that we destroy with the mushroom will remain destroyed at that point. Now, this is interesting because I think the implication is that this coin that we see here, we're actually going to do something like a bomb detonation on top of it to toss it, essentially. Also, when we come through the key door after grabbing the Goom, we will not be restoring the mushroom, but we will restore the P-switch and the bombs. So first of all, we need to check whether, if I toss the P-switch up here, whether it is possible for me to slide in and grab it. It is. And we don't want to get stuck there, of course. So at this point we have P-switch. The P-switch can be used as a blocking piece for the bomb. It does imply to me too that I can take damage from the bomb, but then still use the P-switch to perhaps walk it over. Maybe. Because, okay, let's suppose we walk the bomb. It'll walk over to the claw. As it's walking down, we take damage on it first. Then we block it with the P-switch and walk it back. The issue is that we're still blowing up too much stuff here. But maybe at that time we activate the P switch afterwards. Like we drop the P switch. So the bomb hits Mario. We drop the P switch to the left. Yeah, no, we still have a problem with the bomb potentially blowing up the top coin here. On the other hand, if the coin gets scattered by the bomb, let's say it goes a tile up. So let's say we have a P-switch activation at that point. The coin gets scattered. The coin that's transforming from the top block here, rather. And let's say we got the key at that point. At the on-off switch activation, we should be pushed towards the key. If we push towards the key, then we have to wait on the donut block. The question is, does the coin remain alive long enough for us to drop down that donut block and then grab it after the bomb blows it up? We will have to try it. So, first of all, I have a bit of an issue here. Oh, so we get hit. Then we step here, face right. And then grab this coin. Nope, didn't grab the coin. Okay. Didn't manage to do it. So the question is, how do we grab that coin? Because the bomb is blowing up at that location on top of the on-off switch, then that's not going to happen. If, however, we manage to push the bomb on top of the on-off switch using the P, that would imply that we have to stop it first, though, and then I can't take damage off of it. Because the idea that I had was that we find some way to disable the bomb, or stop it rather, activate it, and then use the P-switch to push it over until it is under the bumper. Because the P-switch push will get it into the appropriate location. And then we would actually be able to wrap back around after getting the key to pick up that P-switch. Maybe. Or, well, we'd still need to activate it. Probably. No, we don't. Because we just need to make sure that the bomb doesn't detonate on top of the second location. So, but the question is, how do we take damage off of it? Because we do need to take damage off of it with the mushroom at that stage, otherwise we don't get a chance to get the key, unless of course we're crouching. But then even if we are crouching, we don't have a way to take damage. So let's walk through what we know so far. We're pretty clear on the opening interaction, which is this. And we reverse the bomb with a very accurate tap at this point. Then we oh no, overshot. Then we have to jump on top of the top block to preserve it. Because it will not get blown up so long as it's still just spinning. Nope. Too aggressive a jump. Need to have a very, very light touch. Okay, like that. I don't know if we need to hug left necessarily. Oh, I jumped too early. I didn't hit the bomb. Whoops. But anyway, we've worked out the first cycle here to get us to the first on-off switch interaction. Nope, too soon. Now the thing is, yeah, again, if we do the P-switch push thing later to protect the same block, I don't think it logically works because we don't have a way to take damage. let's nudge this back. Nope, jump too far. Need to do just a single tile jump, which is very difficult to execute if you're as imprecise with the button presses as I tend to be. So let's walk it back. There we go. So this looks correct so far. Everything here looks correct so far. Then we do this. Next priority is to have key and on-off switch taken care of. So the question is, do I actually need to activate the P switch? Because if I don't, then well, the thing is, we would need the on state. We need to carry the P switch with us, I think, all the way to the key door without having activated it. The reason is because then we would reverse back here with the P switch, and the thing is, the P switch is unobtainable in the on state, and we need the on state for passing back and forth between the doors for the next series of reversals. So let's take it first. Also, yeah, we generally haven't worked out a lot of the coin grabbing. Like this, for instance, this would be P switch is active and we jump up towards it. Seemingly simple enough. So the question is whether it might be advantageous to grab some of the coins now, or if we need some of them still alive for additional bomb bumping on the second cycle later. Because if we don't have a P switch, we don't have a blocking piece to reverse the bombs later if the top block in the stack of 2 has already been destroyed or transformed into a coin and dropped or anything like that. So I think at the time that we exit the first cycle through this room with the key intact, I don't think we can get a sufficient number of coins if we have destroyed that top block. And if we have collected it as a coin, then we have another problem, which is that we don't really have a good way to reverse a bomb when we come back with the Goomba. Now, when we come back with the Goomba, of course, having the Goomba changes a couple of things, potentially. Like, for example, the ability to use the Goomba as a blocking piece for the bomb, which... Yeah, because we're not coming back with the P switch, actually, and I realized it now, because the whole purpose of doing the first entry to the key door and going right, grabbing the Goomba, and coming back... the Galoomba, rather... is that you have to be holding that coming through the door. So when you come through the door, you're in the on state, the P is back in its original position. The question at that point is, after the first on-off cycle, do we at that point need to grab the P again in order to sweep up the rest of the coins? I think the answer is yes, which means that we cannot take this one as a coin yet. Now, this also means that there's no reason not to activate the P switch the first time through to grab what we need with it. For instance, the turn block in the middle, is there any reason why we wouldn't want that as a coin? In fact, it seems rather important that we might have that there, so we have a slot that would bomb the coin to the left of it. So, for example, imagine that we walk a bomb all the way over to the left side by way of, say, up throwing towards it or something and lifting it. then we'd be able to take it through this trap here. If this is gone, we up throw a bomb into here. And then that would have to happen before a toggle, and then that blows up the coin to the left. That seems like an unnecessarily tricky way to do it when you can just put a bomb here, in this slot, and then grab the coin to the right of it. That's how you send this coin up. You have to bomb it. For sure, you have to have a bomb come all the way over here and lift it. Okay, that's plenty of theoretical talk here. Let's see what happens. So we cannot have the bomb blow up the turn block down here. However, we also cannot just stand there. What if I used a P as a blocking piece there? But then when the turn block finishes spinning, the P is going to get pushed up, but we just need it to be in place at the time of the detonation. So the idea is this. Whoops, let's do this first. The idea is this. Well, no, we can't quite do that. I was thinking that I could find a way to pick up the P and drop it back in that slot. That you use the P to block the bomb, but then you still kind of stand there and drop it back in that slot to prevent it from blowing up. We need something to stop it from blowing up. You drop the P. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Because how do I take damage off of the bomb and still move it, ideally to the bumper location, rather than having it walk all the way back? Definitely the P has to be part of it, but then basically we need to take damage off the bomb and find a way to stop it. Okay, so let's just do the opening sequence again since we have that mapped out. So all that is pretty straightforward. And then we're able to obtain the P at this point. We don't want to drop through here and get stuck. Yeah, because if the bomb has already been ignited and is sitting still, then of course Mario would bump into it and not take damage off of it. The alternative is we could try to... let's see, I wonder if there's a way you can manipulate the bounce of that coin. So it does get into a position where it can be picked up. I don't think so, though. It's going to be alive for only moments. So, for example, if you have a P-switch activated, and the thing is, we can't do that because we probably still need that top block alive here for the second cycle. This leads to a bit of a conundrum. So, again, the problem we're working on right now is how do we activate the on-off switch without blowing up the top turn block in this stack? We know how to reverse the bomb using the P. Also, it's a requirement that Mario has to take damage at this point. Does Mario have to take damage at this point, or is there a way to do it later? I don't think there's a way to do it later. And still squeeze through the left side. Now, if, for instance, Mario takes damage by, say, doing this... nope, that's not quite right. Yeah, you see Mario stands here, but then the P will get pushed up afterwards. Interestingly enough, it could be that you've got two turn blocks here because you definitely activate one before the other. We can bump the bomb backwards as before. We leave the P in the bottom slot, and the bottom block will push the P into the top block. Then you're in this state. Yeah, no, I think that's why there's two stacked together. The bottom one is going to push the P into the top one. Tricky, but feasible. This will take a little bit of time to straighten out when it comes to the execution, just because there's lots of potential for confusion here when it comes to the exact sequence of actions that we need. But I think I know roughly what to go for. And so at that time, Mario will have taken damage and is able to go up to the red block above by the key to get pushed into the key while small. So we need to be fairly exact about this. The idea is this. We are going to stand on the bottom turn block. We tap the top one when the bomb comes down to reverse it back the same way as before, but then we drop the P in the bottom block and then we jump straight out so we don't activate it. Bottom block will push the P into the top block. P will keep the top one turning while the bomb detonates. Might be a little bit tricky, because we need to be like this. Oh, a little late. We activated this too late. But the idea is you reverse the bomb the same way we did before, like this. Drop the P and then jump straight through. We need to take damage at a point. That's one missing part of the step here. That we reverse the bomb we did before, that actually doesn't work because we don't have a way to take damage. That's why that doesn't work. Because if we don't take damage, then we're in a position where we can't actually go through the left side, since there's no way to get through this slot while big. Okay, so that idea isn't going to work exactly like that, at least not yet. I feel like the idea of having the bottom block here push the P in the top block is sound, but that still doesn't solve the issue, oh, too soon, of how Mario is going to take damage. Oh, too soon. Anyway, let's walk it. I'm assuming, of course, that we do need mushroom here to bust through this, and that it isn't going to be some other interaction that is sustaining this block and leaving it open, so we can collect it as a coin later. Because it's entirely possible that maybe this one is the one you collect as a coin, but the only purpose of doing that is to basically defer the whole mushroom interaction till later, and of course right now we don't have a way to deal with the mushroom issue, unless we just let the mushroom come through here the first time. But then if we do, we don't have a way to get through the left side unless we... Oh, I know. What if... Watch this. This sits here. Does the one-up mushroom gets pushed out after expiry? Yes, it does. Okay, that's unfortunate. Because I was thinking that if you have it stay there, then you would be able to drop through it. But then you're not able to cycle through it quickly enough for that to really work out. If you had some kind of object that would actually be trapped there and stay, then that might be interesting. Because then it would let you drop through without picking up the mushroom. And if you don't pick up the mushroom, once you come back through the door later, the mushroom will come back to the claw in its original position since it has not been obtained. And then you would bust through this, perhaps. But I don't know. I find that doubtful. I don't see a way to trap this. But if there were a way, then you don't worry about detonating the top block on the right side. Although you still need it for reversals, so... in terms of locking the bomb the way we've been doing. Let's keep with the current sequence, because I feel like we can refine it. It seems closer to the truth of the solution. And this is fairly relaxed to execute as well, which is always an encouraging sign, because it shows me that something is going right. Now, if we take damage, the bomb is going to walk. So how do I reverse the bomb while also taking damage off of it? I don't see it. Because we're running out of damage sources quickly. And at this point, we don't actually need the mushroom for anything. At this point, we should take damage as soon as we can. So I wonder if I am blowing up the left side block prematurely, and if there's another way to deal with that. However, yeah, because I don't see a way to get a key other than by standing on top there, unless you have some kind of object throw towards it. I don't doubt it. I think you do need to be personally pushed through it. So anyway, we had this idea before. If we reverse the bomb through tapping the block, and then it goes back to the on-off switch on the right side. Then... yeah, I don't think that works. I think... let me check the throw range on this, perhaps. Let's check the throw range. It lands all the way on the donut block. Okay, I needed to check that. In fact, the donut block is probably there to specifically trap the P-switch if we're trying that. Oh, whoops. See a lot of things like the sequence of donut blocks, whoops, on the left side that we drop in at the front. Probably there specifically to prevent any shenanigans from trying to stall this and loop around quickly. So by all appearances, we absolutely do need the mushroom, the way that we've been using it so far. Do we do anything differently from this point? I don't think so yet. We don't really have any possibilities. So again, we drop the bomb. And I really like the double P-switch push idea. I just don't see how to execute it while blocking the bomb and taking damage. Actually, let's try this. So when I take damage off the bomb, does the bomb walk right through me? I need to double check this to be absolutely sure. Yeah. So the thing is, I don't have a good way at this point to tap the bomb if I'm taking damage like that. Because we need to get it to go over to the on-off switch, do the double P block thing, and then zip over to the key this way. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be a P switch that does that interaction. It could just as easily be something else. But we have nothing else to throw and nothing else that's going to come down unless... Yeah, that opening one up looks like it's just there to be collectible. We can't do much else with it. Those bottom donut blocks that we're standing on are interesting. The donut blocks that are the sequence of 4 here. What does that do exactly? Whoops. Too soon. Maybe that's just there to ease up on the execution of the second jump here. Well, perhaps we should test whether that... Oh, no, my mistake. We should check whether the idea of the double P-switch push works to begin with. Because a lot is riding on that notion right now, and even if we're kind of missing one step of this process here, that is at least something important to figure out. Because then it becomes a problem of how we take damage. Okay, so... Yeah, because as long as we get the key, we're able to go through the key doors and then come back and spawn more bombs. But we do have to take damage fairly early on as Big Mario here, because then we can slip back to the left side, which we're otherwise not really able to do. This would be interesting here were it not for the fact that this is actually enclosed ground under the bumper. But anyway, let's try to do this again. So, again, let's try this. Reverse. Oh, accidentally stepped on it. I cannot step on it if we do that. We need to let the P-switch remain in place. Which means I need to jump well out of the way, because otherwise it does get pushed up immediately. Might even need to jump up to the donut block unless it's too slow to let us down. Oh, whoops, too late. Nope, too soon. You need to be very exact about obstructing the bomb when it's right about to touch the corner. Very fortunate that we discovered this as early as we did. Okay, now I wonder how that 1-up on the left is obtainable. I guess if you have an on-off detonation there, then it sends the 1-up upwards. We're going to have to deal with the damage problem and the coin drop problem. Now, of course, if you actually activate a P-switch and take the top coin, then that would be on the assumption that we don't need it for any reversals the second time through here, and it might be the case that we don't. We would just need to make sure we have some other way of reversing bombs, and if it's using the goom instead, that is entirely possible. Because maybe if we do take the top coin in this sequence here, that might work. I don't know. The idea of having the bottom block push into the top block is such an appealing one. It naturally leads me to try to explore it. Whoa, we tapped just much too early. Much too early. But for example, you tap this and then, oh, nope, I accidentally grabbed it. Well, let's say we tap this. Nope, you can't obstruct like that. Didn't think you could. That would have broken many other puzzles by now if it did in fact work. So we need to be fairly careful about how we tap this. Have to be very minimal about some of the jumps. Nope, there we go. So yeah, let's... Whoop. Hang on. Nope. Bad positioning. And didn't hit the on-off regardless. Regardless, we can try this interaction here and see. Yeah, it sustains that and then pushes up. And so the idea is that we have the bomb detonation while the P-switch is obstructing the top block and while we're standing here. The issue is Mario must be small at that point. I mean, I guess if you're big, you could crouch here and get pushed right. But then you have the problem afterwards of how you take damage when the bombs are already both down. And that's something that is currently still unsolved. I don't know if there's some kind of crushing interaction that we could do to crush Mario down to a small height. For instance, that top right corner with the blue blocks there looks like it has some potential. But I wonder. Yeah, the stack of 2 blue state blocks on the top right there does look interesting, at least. This one here. But if there's a state shift there, I think it just forces you into a crouch, right? Like if you're big. It's not really a damage source as such. This seems specifically designed to prevent you from going through while big. And I do not see any kind of relevant exploit to make that not true. If you're big, E-block just kind of shifts and then you're not really going to be able to go through the gap regardless. So we're missing one critical step in the sequence here, it seems. Or doing one thing out of order, perhaps, somewhere. But this part looks right. I just don't see a good alternative to everything that we've been doing up to this point in terms of getting through this block and hitting the piece, which I don't like the fact that we're destroying this block so early on the left side, but I don't see the alternative. Since we just can't sustain this turn long enough for it to remain in place. Because if you're in this state here, I mean, we can map out what happens if we just let the bomb destroy the top block. I think we're clearly not supposed to. But we can map out the sequence, just so we're clear. For example, bomb walks like this. And then let's say it would go like this. It would destroy the top block. Oh, accidentally did that. Yeah, and if it's a coin, the coin would be sent up, but not far up enough to matter for us at that point. However, we can see what happens when we go through here and see what we can do with the Goomba manipulation. Oh, hang on, I can't jump that. We need to walk over to the Goomba. Well, yeah, specifically that's there to enforce that you don't go over that trap. So we don't jump at the point, we just walk right. Bounce to Goomba, short hop. Get over to the left. Drop back in with a Goom. You drop back in with a Goom, then you have one new potential blocking piece for reversing the bomb. And in that sense, no, you might not need the center column here. The problem, of course, is that if we're using the P-switch as the blocking piece at that point, maybe we can just collect the top coin. Maybe we can just collect it, activate a P-switch at that point, and then see if we actually need it for anything else. Let's try to collect the top coin after reversing the bomb this time. Whoops, nope. So you reverse the bomb the same way as previously, and then you hit the P-switch at that moment, and you collect the top coin of those two. And hope you don't need it for anything else. And then the other P-switch coin collections we'll need to deal with later. While also escorting the Goomba around, no doubt. So the idea I have now is we do this as before. No, we still have a problem, which is we don't have a way to take damage if we do this. And then, oh, too late for that to get the key. And again, no way to take damage. Yeah, the bomb has to make contact in order to take damage, but then let's try some things with the P interaction to see if we can stand on this slot while tall and throw out one tile on the left and still be able to recover it. That still has a taking damage problem, though. Because let's say the bomb walks into me, then it walks into the P. It gets blocked, reverses. And then we don't really have a way to step on the P to get this coin. I mean, it could always be that the coin bounce RNG ends up mattering or something. Previously, the problem was, yeah, the coin is too low. It's below that point. It's grounded, not bouncing. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, whoops, too high. We'll be resetting to that particular error quite a lot, I'm sure. Nope, too high. Need a very, very gentle tap. There we go. So everything up through here so far looks acceptable. But we do have that damage problem. I don't see anywhere that we can squish Mario or something. So yeah, this is the step that does not seem to be working out. We know how to get to the key. We know how to toggle the on-off switch. We know how to reverse the bomb using several methods. What we don't know is how to do several of those things at once, where Mario takes damage and the bomb is in the right place and the top block either doesn't blow up or is converted into a coin that we can take right away. Because let's say we walk the bomb over to the claw once. I actually wonder if there's a way to just sustain it in position and take damage and loop back to it a second time. I don't think so, because either it walks down to the left side trap or walks down to the right side trap. But if we take damage off of it, maybe we can actually cycle around really quickly. Like run all the way around after it has reversed through the P. Then drop the P in this slot. Then come up here really quickly. Like, I don't think we can do that because of the donut block on the left side here. And all of the other donut blocks in this passage here stalling us for time. We wouldn't be able to run the bomb down to the on-off switch and come all the way back here at a full cycle early enough for it to matter. Because regardless, we need to be standing here when the on-off switch activates. That method doesn't has nearly enough time. Yeah, all this stuff just stalls you specifically so you can't just outrun the bomb as it's going towards the on-off switch. Now, of course, I I've been so far so committed to this early sequence of interactions all the way up till here and obtaining the P-switch that it's possible that we're missing some necessary adjustment. But a lot of the ingredients just seem to be promising. The idea of the P-switch defending against a bomb a second time seems very promising, for instance. We might even try it even though the damage problem still persists, just to see if we can execute it at all cleanly. Oh, no. You know what? Push it over. Oh, no. Pushed it towards myself. And didn't even hit the on-off, so never mind that. But definitely I like the idea of the P-switch sustaining the top block here while the detonation occurs. We just don't know how to take damage until... Oh, whoops. Ran away too early. We just don't know how to take damage up until that point. Yeah, it's pretty clear that we need to. Because that seems unavoidable over there, that we already have the mushroom at this point. Because I really like the idea of bottom block sending the P to the top block. It just seems so elegant, and it seems so much like it's going to be part of the solution. It's just that we're missing one intervening step getting up to that point. Look at you. Come up here, and oh, I see. If you're on a slope, it prevents you from doing a crouch jump up here as Big Mario. So you can't get up there when you're big, even if you wanted to. That is specifically what the slope is denying. That is what the slope does. The slope prevents you from doing a crouch jump up to the slot. However, you can kind of do this and then walk over, so maybe it's possible. How did I even do that? How did I think about it? And it doesn't help because you still can't get through the bottom left slot, so... So currently the question is, if we take damage with the bomb in this location, let's say we're tall and we're standing on the bottom slot, then how do we reverse the bomb? Let's say we're standing on this bottom block. We have the P there. Bomb runs into me. How do we obstruct the bomb anyway, even after getting bumped? Maybe a forward throw with a P-switch. Because then the P-switch would nudge its way up and then possibly block the bomb back, like if we forward throw to the left. We'll have to try a few things like that. Nope. And regardless, if Mario's standing there for a long time, it doesn't matter if we're holding a P-switch and we drop it there. The turn block timing is based on when Mario leaves, so if Mario leaves, then the P-switch would get pushed out right away anyway, so the block rattle would still go down. I wonder if you can get bumped by the bomb and still maybe nudge it with a spin jump on the way up. This is something we can test. Let's say we're standing here. Is there a way to just kick the bomb with something like a spin when it's just about to nudge? For example, if you're taking damage, but then you spin on the way up. But then you wouldn't want to spin jump because it would knock the bomb all the way over and it would not be able to walk over on the on-off switch, so that cannot be it. You absolutely need to block the bomb somehow. I still kind of have my suspicions that the mushroom is being obtained too early. But I'm really not sure how to do that part any differently at the moment. And again, the execution up to this point has mostly felt clean, which is absolutely a consideration. Hang on, you walk it back, but then I have no way to sustain it after that. Yeah, because that's going to go down. And then now you're short 1 coin. And regardless, we have a bit of a problem here, which is that we don't need the P-switch to go through this door. We don't use it for anything once we're past the Goomba. Which means the P-switch has to have been used for something at this point, and I strongly suspect that it has to be used for this bit. But then that would mean that we're not using it as a blocking piece. If we're not using it as the blocking piece, then what are we doing? It needs to block the top one. But then how do we take damage? Yeah, I don't see anything here that can kind of do a hard crush on Mario to squeeze him down. Anyway, let's continue looping through this just to see what happens with the Goom. I see. Okay, so you can't do that. If you take the P-switch with you, though, and you drop it in that slot, maybe you can raise the Goom and walk it. Maybe. We should actually try it. Maybe you do need to take the P-switch with you for that, then. Because I really have the sense that... Well, actually, no, this is a bit of a problem. Because you don't have a way to disable the Goomba to take it back with you through the door. So you're actually supposed to destroy it. Maybe even using a bomb. And you run a bomb over through the key door. And then bomb the Goomba out of the way. We should see what happens when we try to drop the P-switch on it, perhaps. Oh, whoops, too soon. That's okay, it'll go back up. Because we know how to get a fairly... Whoops, too soon. Fairly early key at this point. But we're sacrificing one of the blocks to do it, and we really can't afford to do that. Oh, no, too soon. Have to keep the input straight here. Like if you take this, it pops out well before you're able to interact with it. Another time. Whoops, didn't go far enough. Let's reverse this one. Nope, too far. Have to be very, very exact there. No, too soon. Getting a little twitchy and impatient with this, perhaps. And loving the first interaction that we mapped out already quite a long time ago. No, too far. A lot of repetition on that one. There we go. I mean, I don't know if there's an alternative to standing on top of the red block to get pushed to the key. I don't see that there is. We don't have any kind of object that could be thrown past obstruction into the key or something to pick it up. I think it does have to be Mario manually going there, and if that's the case, then we absolutely have a bit of a problem. In that I still don't know how to take damage and protect that block. There was something I wanted to try, but it still, I think, had a bit of a logical issue in terms of the P getting pushed out too soon. Because again, if I'm able to reverse the bomb and take damage off of it, that would be ideal. Like if I reverse the bomb, then jump up quickly enough to bump into it before it goes through the bumper, let's say. Like bump the bomb and then jump up towards it to take damage while crouched. I don't know, that seems pretty fussy to execute. Yeah, you can't get anywhere near that. Oop. And actually, if you're crouched there, then you get stuck. You don't get pushed. You have to be in a walking position as Small Mario to get pushed. Otherwise, you actually just get locked completely. Then, yeah, the bomb blew up. P-switch was already pushed out of that column, so it got bumped up one additional slot. I think the P-switch getting pushed from bottom to top is absolutely critical here. We just don't know how to take damage while we're doing it. Now, the question is... So we don't have the key at that point. We've used both bombs on the first cycle. At that point, I don't think we can get the key. We have access to the key door, but we can't get the key. So maybe the question is, if I have a way, and Lebanon D. Friend, welcome. Thank you for the raid. I'll just give you a quick shout out here. And I hope you had a good stream with Maker over on your end. And Tundra, welcome back as well. And welcome Vasmich, Belina Gaming, everybody else who's come in. This is the only level we've been working on so far today. It is numbered 19 out of 21 in an all puzzle super world that we've been working on for the past 2 weeks or so. Got a couple of steps figured out that are critical. We're missing something crucial right now. And I've been trying to figure out how to do that one step that isn't quite coming together. Because we're missing one interaction that I have to do. We blow that up, we come down here. This is not my level. Tundra, we've been working on clearing it, rather. We've been working on trying to clear this super world. I did not design this, no, not by any means. This is by Seanhip2, who is a maker who was actually quite a famous puzzle maker in Maker 1. And then after Maker 2 came out, he posted a few levels, disappeared for a few years, and then came back to drop this super world last summer. And it is quite an accomplishment. So, okay, we've been able to get up to this state. So what we need to do is a couple of things. we need to protect the top block. We know how to do that with the P being moved up towards it. We need to activate the on-off switch. We need to be small, and we need to stand on top of the top red block left of the key when we get pushed towards the key by the on-off switch. The issue so far is that I've been able to do all of those things except one. I can accomplish several of those objectives, but I'm always missing one of those objectives. And so far, we don't know how to fill that in. For example, we know how to protect the P, activate the bomb, stand up there, or we know how to take damage, activate the bomb, get up to the key, but unfortunately lose the top block. We must protect the top block because we need it for the clear condition. Unless we're supposed to activate the P now, which I don't think we're supposed to because of the fact that we need to deal with the Goomba interaction. Oh yes, we still need to deal with the Goomba interaction. And actually, my original idea of going through the key door, grabbing the Goomba, and coming back with it might not actually work. However, maybe the Goomba is just there to be destroyed by a bomb later. And if that's the case, or you up throw using the P, actually, no, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Okay, let's get the key first. We need to sacrifice this block for now because I'll need to figure out that complication later. We have too many other things to sort out first. Let's just sacrifice this block for the time being. That means that this will, whoops, not be the actual solution we need, and I jumped too far. But I need to see how to deal with that Goomba, and I think it's taking the P-switch with you and doing an up throw above it, which is very similar to, whoops, another puzzle interaction that we had earlier in this super world, in the Night Castle level, where we also used a P ceiling to prevent getting bounced too high for where we were going. It's going to be a very similar idea. We'll see if we can do it. Nope, too far. And to do this really light tap jump, which, not being a precision player, I do not execute consistently. There we go. So yeah, this protects the block. But we're only protecting this block in the first place because it needs to remain protected for much longer. And it's absolutely incorrect, I think, to let it blow up at all, because I think that is definitely one of the blocks that we'll need on the clear condition. Now we step on a P-switch now, and well, let's see. Let's say we take damage. We keep the P-switch. Come back with it afterwards. The block is still going to be gone, and we'll still have lost on one coin. So I think we're going to be in a bit of trouble with that regardless. Although, notice the coin that is at the bottom by the goal. I wonder if that's reachable. Look at the goal on the right. There is something winged that is blinking there, which seems like it might be an obstruction. But I actually wonder if it's possible to wrap around that column, like whether that's something that is just a trick. And if you wrap around the right side column where the goalpost currently is, and drop down to the lower coin, and then finish the clear condition that way. In which case, you're actually able to give up one block. This would be similar to that Catch-22 level that was very early in this sequence, where it is deliberately misleading about which blocks you need for the clear condition. If that's the case, let's actually sacrifice the top block and see if we can do the rest. And oh, it looks like that's just ground, but it might be a trick. It might be a trick. Oh, we walked out too soon. Let's see. Yeah, because it's on top of the left side of the winged platform. So the winged platform would need to be moved. Now, if it's moved, you would fall into this trap with the two springs coming up and down, and then they would basically send you all the way upstairs and kick you out. However, if you fall in there precisely in such a way that doesn't get bounced, which I think would be tricky, then maybe you can get back out safely and then drop down to the coin that's at the bottom, because that coin looks oddly accessible. The one below the gate. That feels like it's probably the visual trick that's going on here. That the right side of the goal pole, I think, is actually empty, because look at the way the goal pole is structured, right? When it is blocked by ground, then it is actually visually obstructed, at least on the left side. So let's say we sacrifice the top block here. But then why would we even need to defend it at this point if we're sacrificing it? Right? That's the thing that doesn't make sense. Why would we bother to defend this now? We're just going to blow it up right away. So maybe that's not correct then. Maybe... Well, let's work it out anyway, because we need to work out the whole bit with the Goomba. Just to see more of the sequence. Even if we're one coin short on the clear condition, we need to see what's possible in the level as it stands. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take damage. I'm going to walk here. Top block's going to be sacrificed. We keep the P-switch. We use the P-switch to trade into the Goomba. The way we do it is we stand all the way over here, do an up throw to create a ceiling. This allows me to jump through. We need to up throw at some point to... Oh, no, hang on. Not have problems with the Goomba waking up. Okay, so now we've managed to smuggle the Goomba back here. Problem is, we've already lost one block. And so the clear condition might be a problem from that point on. Snowbear coming in with a party of 29, welcome. Glad to have you here. And welcome everybody who came in with the raid as well. We've been working on a super world that is all puzzles. We're currently on puzzle 19 out of 21. And there's one step that I seem to have been stuck on, but it might also just be a trick. In fact, I should probably see if we can in fact wrap around that goal pole on the right. But right now, we're able to drop one additional bomb through here. We're then able to activate the on-off switch a second time. We need 2 activations in order to get up to the top coin. The first activation we'll also need it to get over to the P-switch. Then we collect the coins off the 3 remaining blocks down here. You know, we don't need to... We used a P-switch and we're collecting all the coins. Or collecting most of them at least. We're able to come back here through the on-off state afterwards. Let's say the P-switch has been activated and we've gotten some coins already. without doing the Goomba interaction, we're still able to get another P-switch potentially. Assuming that we're still able to bump this one up, which would require me to still do one on-off toggle. So that's assuming that we can leave that right side block protected. If we leave that right side block protected, and then we step on the P-switch afterwards, well, why would we do that? Or if we step on the P-switch right away and then go through the right side column, take out those 2 blocks, get the key, get out of here. And then unfortunately we're in the on state when we go back through the key door and come back in. And then when we come back in at that state, then we're going to have some issues because then we no longer have a way to reverse any of the bombs. Because we'll be in the on state and the new P-switch will still be stuck here. So that's going to be an issue. That we really can't sacrifice this top block the way that we've been doing. However, what we can do right now is test out the Goom blocking interaction just to see if it works. And it does. Oh, except, yeah, then we get pushed to the coin here. That's how you get the coin. You actually just need one interaction for it. And then you have a second bomb available to reopen the next gate, which we can do. Because at this point, we're able to pump the P the way that we did before. Oh, we still need to walk a bomb over to this side. That's going to be a problem because we still need a bomb to raise this coin. But that's okay. That's actually easy to do because what we do is we walk the first bomb, which implies again that we still need a way to bump it. And thank you so much for the follow. Hope you enjoyed Snowbear's stream today as well. I know there's been tons of maker content coming down on that end lately. So at some point we need still that right side block available because we need to bump a bomb. Or actually, we might even need to do something like a P up throw into a bomb to raise it. Because if we raise it, then it walks. It walks all the way over here. We need some way to, or rather, we need some way to bump a bomb so that it's able to walk over here and then we can raise this coin. So we're missing a couple of steps here. And it all involves avoiding that one block sacrifice. Snowy always has enjoyable streams? Yeah, exactly. That's why we go there. And yeah, this so far seems all correct. Oops, jumped too far. I really feel like the idea of having the P get sent up both of these blocks in the central column is so clearly satisfying as a puzzle interaction that I feel like it must be part of the solution. It's just that we don't know how to take damage on that step. And until we know how to take damage on that step, it's a bit of a non-starter. And I don't know if we are just being too early on the whole idea of the mushroom here. I just don't see a way around it though, because, you know, if that's the case, then we just don't have... Yeah, because the mushroom's going to come through here regardless. Unless we let it through, but if we let it through, then we don't have a way through this block. And we don't have a way through this block, we can't cycle back. So one alternative is to see if maybe there's a way back down through here without dealing with the mushroom. For example, if some object is dropped through the stall. But again, I don't currently see a way to do it. Let's walk this down. Reverse it again. Very light touch. Load up. I still think this opening sequence looks more or less correct. There's maybe something that we haven't really interacted with in the top corner here. We've figured out after the goom how to get up to this coin, but there's a lot that we still need to weave into the sequence. Yeah, I think that bottom right coin can't be it. The gate with the flying platform on the right looks too much of an issue. It looks too much like it's supposed to be the GG animation, but it also encloses that area completely. At the same time, though, that bottom right coin is so suspicious. We might have to check that spot after we go through the Goomba later. Anyway, at this point, we're kind of forced through the mushroom. I still see no alternative to this. And this is still suspicious as well, that, you know, we're able to turn that into a coin, but it's unclear what else we can actually do with it. So we'll see. If there is some way to crush Mario back to small at this point, we need to know it. And not sure that there is. Because we can obviously take damage off the bomb, but that isn't sufficiently helpful at the moment. So let's say we take damage off the bomb. The thing I wanted to try was left side throw with it. What if you raise the bomb into a spot where we can just deal with it later, like walk the bomb over to the left with something like a P up throw. But a P up throw looks like it goes too far. It's going to send the bomb all the way up to that donut block. Maybe. Well, I don't know, because the bomb's going to be walking, so it might just get displaced just walking left. Like if you do a P throw, then you can send the bomb back over to the donut block on the left. The issue, of course, is that you would need to step on it afterwards to start its detonation, and then you wouldn't be able to take it through all this other stuff here. We should actually test out the interaction. Oops. Yeah, so you can bump it, but then you've got a big problem after that. I actually wonder, this slope here. Hang on, let's let go of the dash button when we do that. Doesn't quite go far enough to do the kick. Yeah, it kind of does. But there's no point in doing that. I think the slope is mostly just crouch jump prevention, but we haven't quite thought that through just yet. Oops. Let's do this. Well, I think so far this has got to be correct, but we could be wrong. So, if we have a way to take damage off that bomb and protect the block and grab the key, that would be great. What happens if we don't go for the key on that round? Well, then we lose the chance to get the key, and then that doesn't work because we need the key in order to spawn more bombs. But what if we get the key And P-switch has converted this into a coin. But then if the coin has been hit by the bomb and it bounces, then it's already in a state that's not going to respawn after the door transition. And regardless, if we get the key through here, we have to wait for that donut block. And yeah, there's a lot that seems to be dependent on this block remaining alive, so I don't think any of those sequences will really work. Oh, the thing I wanted to try was bomb hits me and then I spin jump through it, but then no, that doesn't work. That disabled his bomb. Let's say you take damage and then you run through here. If we can get the bomb on top of that bumper position in the center, that would be the way to do it. So you need to hit the bomb. Oh, it is going to be a little bit tricky, because it implies that I still have the P-switch available to push it. You do the P-switch push, and again, that still has the same problem. I don't know how to take damage that way. Because you hit the bomb, then you don't have a way to take damage. You block with a P-switch, you don't have a way to stop the bomb. So how can I take a hit and hit the bomb? On the same cycle. That's the thing that's been a mystery. We have not resolved that particular logical issue. Now, the way that the P can actually be sent down... No, it's just a way to enforce that you need the state switch to grab the P. At least it seems so. We don't necessarily know that. Here's the thing. What if we stay in the bottom? Instead of jumping up there, we now have access to an up throw, which means that we can reverse the bomb using an up throw. That still doesn't let me take damage. That still doesn't solve the damage problem. Because the thing is, I can stay down here and then tap the blocks this way. But I don't see how that confers any advantage. It does allow me to tap the bomb up there while still being able to leave the P in the bottom slot. But we still can't take damage, and so I don't think it works. Yeah, the bumper slot down here, I wonder if there's going to be some kind of productive way to use it. Because we only have the one P to work with, we don't have a second thing to stack it with.